Welcome back in, gang. Coach Casey here. In this top 5 video, this was a little bit different. These are the top 5 breeds that you can't handle but think you can. And obviously I could have thrown 5 breeds on here that were way over the top, you know, but what I did is chose 5 that are, it's the truth. A lot of people get these breeds and I get a lot of calls about them because they think that they can handle them and they cannot. And I can also throw all 5 like highly aggressive breeds, that kind of thing, but that's not what I did. All 5 of these are on here for a different reason. I think you're gonna enjoy it. So let's jump in. All right, here we go. Coming in at number 5 on the top 5 breeds that you can't handle but think you can. It's the Catahoula Leopard Dog. These guys were bred to think on their own, not take direction from uncertain energy. And I get a lot of calls about these because a lot of people want these as family dogs, and they're kind of more of a working dog with primal drive. And, you know, we're kind of pushing them into being family dogs, and it's just not where they thrive. So, you know, if you have a job for these guys and you have, you know, an idea of what you want to do with them, that's fantastic. But when you get these guys and you bring them in and you want them to be part of the family, you expect them to be like a Labrador Retriever because they're kind of look alike in the same size, that kind of thing, that's where you're going wrong. And that's why I wanted to put on here, this is a dog you think you control until you get them in thinking you got a lab. Guess what? You got a Catahoula Leopard Dog and things are going crazy on you and you're wondering why. So that's why this makes number 5 on this list. All right, let's move on into number 4. But before we do, any of you Catahoula Leopard fans, drop it in the comments. Are you an owner? Drop that in the comments. Let me know your experience. Share your experience with the others. If you resonate with what I said, if you disagree, drop it in the comments so we can chat about it and let the others know what's worked for you and so on, that kind of thing. So moving on to number 4. This one here, guys, the Italian Greyhound. This one is on this list for a whole different reason than the others. And if you're not sure what an Italian Greyhound is, these things are very fragile. And that's a perfect word when, you know, describing these guys. Delicate frame, very anxious. They're coddled all the time. These can thrive in a scenario with like elderly, you know, not very active, or maybe just one person. They're not the family dog. They're not for children. Now, again, within every breed, you get these dogs that are great for that. But I'm saying as a whole, you know, when some of these families are going out and getting Italian Greyhounds and their families and they have active kids and little kids and all that, this breed is too fragile. They're going to sit there and shake in your living room because it is just way too much. And if any of you guys own this breed or you've seen similar, drop it in the comments. Let me know. You know, add chaos or kids to these things and they'll live in permanent panic mode. And that's exactly what it is. So as long as there's nothing going on, like I said, you got a very, you know, the owner's not active. They kind of just stick to themselves, just them and the dog, great little bond, fine. But anything other than that, and these guys, literally, they start to panic, they're fragile. Any kind of chaos they take, and it can ruin your lifestyle. And I've seen it, you know, now people are like, I didn't think this, now I love this girl, but man, she's making my life, you know, miserable. So that's why it's on this list, guys. This is a fantastic breed to add to this list because these are, would you think this breed is on here? A dog that you can't handle but think you can, right? That's why it's on here, because it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Let's move on to number 3. All right, this next breed is an athlete that never clocks out. Smart, loving, relentless. They don't do off. If you guys know what I'm talking about, GSP, German short-haired pointers. You talk about energy. This is the type dog that when I'm doing treadmill training with, it almost amps them up where they want to do it more. And this is one of the breeds that stands out with that. Usually a treadmill will wear a dog out, especially when it's structured. The dog's got to think about what they're doing. Otherwise they fall off, that kind of thing. With the GSP, they go and it kind of amps them up to do more. So this is very, you got to purpose all this energy. If you have clear-cut boundaries and you give these guys a job and you're going to keep them fulfilled, they're going to thrive in your home. But most people can't do that. And I'm just being honest. Most people can't keep this breed fulfilled. Way too much, always on the go, always needing to go. And when they're resting, I mean, that if you want to call it rest, I mean, I guess they probably sleep here and there, but man, high energy, and this will whip you if you're not ready for it. All right, I'm moving on into the number 2, and if I pronounce this wrong, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just trying to deliver a breed, the Alaskan Klee. I'm not sure how to explain it, but if you guys, you're probably looking at the pictures right now as I'm talking, but this is a miniature husky. So Do you think that this is a type breed when people look at it? Look how cute a little 8-week-old puppy would be. A husky 8-week-old puppy is adorable. You get a mini husky and you look at an 8-week-old puppy, it's gonna be impulse. You're gonna buy it. You're gonna purchase it. You're gonna adopt it, whatever the case is. And then you get it home, it starts to mature on you, and then you realize, you're like, wait a minute, this is a husky brain. And the problem with this is that it still has the husky brain. It's the escape artist. It's the one that out challenges its owners. It can outsmart its owners. But now it's in a smaller size, so people are picking it up. So you have the problems that are the same issues with the Chihuahuas and all these toy breeds with this in a husky build. Does that make sense? So you'll drown in this breed if you don't know what you're doing. Now, I do know people that are successful with it. Again, there's opposite sides of the spectrum with owners and all these personalities within every breed. So, like I said, take all this with a grain of salt of what I'm saying here. But this breed here, if you're not ready for it, the Alaskan Klekai, it's going to keep you on your toes for a lot longer than you thought. You know, imagine a husky with all that comes with that in a smaller wrapping, a little more energetic, but the same kind of brains, but now you're coddling it. And these guys can actually get reactive and a lot more aggressive. I've seen that. So, be careful with this breed. Again, if you have a plan, that's usually the success rate is going to go up. But people, when they don't have plans and they go out and get these breeds, not knowing what they're getting, again, it leads to the shelters, and that's what we have to stay away from. So moving on to number 1, guys, you're going to love this one. All right, my number 1 in these breeds that you think you can handle, but you can't. And this is a perfect example. I had a client, this guy kind of had an ego to him, and he got this dog, and it didn't end well, the Kangal. Right, you guys know what this breed is? They're roughly between 100 and 130 pounds. This is actually an Anatolian Shepherd. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but the exact same thing. And these guys mean business. They also have the highest pounds per pressure jaw bite of all breeds. They say they compare it to a bear. I don't know. I've never been bitten by one. I'm always sure to keep my eye out on these guys because I've worked with a couple. I haven't worked with hundreds like most of these breeds, but I have worked with a few, and I'm telling you, they are just downright determined. They're good with like their person. And anything other than that, they're just, you gotta be very careful. I kind of, very similar to the Chow when you don't, whoa, what was that? Where'd that come from? That kind of thing. That's the Kangal. And there's a lot of size here. 130 pounds of unpredictability is enough to make you think, man, I thought I could handle this breed, but maybe I was wrong. So that's my number 1. I would love to hear you guys' comments on all 5. Drop it down below. I loved it. Obviously, we could interchange a bunch of breeds here because I think there's a ton of underrated breeds out there. When I started doing some research for this video, I was like, man, we're probably gonna have to do a... All right, to take a canine personality quiz, to receive a customized training blueprint, or even just to get a potty training playbook, click the link in the pinned comment below. That's my Dream Dog headquarters. It'll take you over there to all those freebies, and I'll catch you next time.